Henry Nouwen says this: the great spiritual battle begins and never ends. It begins with the reclaiming of our chosenness. Long before any human being saw us, we are seen by God's loving eyes. Long before anyone heard us cry or laugh, we are heard by our God who is our ears for all of us. Long before any person spoke to us in this world, we are spoken to by the voice of eternal love. Our preciousness, our uniqueness, and individuality are not given to us by those who meet us in clock time, this brief chronological existence, but by the one who has chosen us with an everlasting love, a love that existed from all eternity and will last throughout all eternity. That's a pretty sweet gig right there, right? This is the kind of Father that we're dealing with. This is a profile of the gift giver. This is a profile of God who loves us and wants to give us this gift. Yeah, you deserve death, and I'm going to give you life. Yeah, you deserve discipline, but I'm going to hug you and celebrate you and kiss you and give you the finest things. For you guys, again, I don't know what this thing is for you. I don't know what that finite thing is that you're seeking to fill this infinite hole in your heart. I don't know what that is. And I don't know whether some of you guys grew up in a Christian home or a non-Christian home. And there's a danger for some of us who grew up in Christian homes. Christian home, Christian school, Christian church, Christian siblings, Christian breakfast cereal in the morning, I drive a Christian car, I wave a Christian wave, and I talk to my Christian friends. This is kind of the environment that the prodigal son grew up in. And maybe he took all that for granted. Yes, I've heard the gospel 100 times. I know exactly how it goes. But I have this craving I've never had a chance to explore. Maybe the grass is greener on the other side. Because I feel this discontent with life, friends. Things aren't really going my way. I'm jealous of this person over here because they got all the cool stuff. I feel like I don't have the cool stuff. I want Michael Miller's parents because they let him stay out later. I want this kind of car. I want this kind of thing. I see these people doing it, and this is the lifestyle that they're living. Maybe I should go and live that lifestyle. So they want to go and sample that. They want to go test and see if the grass is greener on the other side. And unfortunately, sometimes when that happens, God gives them over to that, their shameful desires, or their shameful lust, sinful desires, their depraved minds, and they just continue on this path. And they get so lost in it that they never turn. But the prodigal son turned. His response mattered, and he turned, which was a gift of God, a gift from God, and a gift for God's glory. So he turned. And he got another chance. And then when he came back, he got everything that he didn't deserve, but everything that his father still had left, the half that he gave him, and okay, what I have left, this half that I have left, you can have it. It's yours. Welcome home, son. You were lost, and you're now found. You were dead, and you're now alive. Welcome. Come on in. What do you think the response of the prodigal son is now? Do you think he's going to be back home for a couple months and then say, you know what, Dad, I was wrong. Since I've been living in your house again, I really feel like a son, and I really desire your stuff more than I desire you. So let's go ahead and hit reset. Let's start this whole thing over. Do you think that would happen? I don't think that would happen in that scenario. When he was at rock bottom, when he was in need, when he was longing to be filled with what was feeding the pigs. I don't know where you are in that. I don't know if you grew up in a Christian home or if you didn't. I don't know if you're sampling right now, the grass is greener on the other side, or if you're completely satisfied with who God is and what He's done. I don't know where you guys are. You guys have awesome small group leaders in this room that want to sort that out. Please be honest with them. Please tell them. Please communicate to them. Here are the finite things that I'm struggling with. I get what Brian was saying about that cup that can never be filled. When it comes to greed, I can never have enough. When it comes to the party scene, I can never have enough. When it comes to lust, I can never have enough. And I'm just in this cycle. It's really painful right now. I do feel empty. I do feel lost. I don't feel life. Be honest with them. Tell them where you are. And if you are the Christian who's grown up in the Christian home, Christian school, Christian church, Christian cereal, Christian clothes, if that's you and you're thinking that the grass is greener on the other side and you want to go sample it, we have a God that's going to let you. Right? He's not the helicopter parent that's going to be like, okay, yeah, don't do that. No, don't touch that. I find myself being the helicopter parent all the time. And I love my kids. I don't want them to get hurt. I think I know what's best for them. But maybe what's best for them is them bogging their head and realizing, yeah, I don't want to do that. Yeah, you were right when you told me not to try this cartwheel over, while Logan is juggling fire, standing on alligators. Yeah, maybe that wasn't a good idea. Yeah, maybe you were right. Our response matters. This collision with grace, we should look different. Once we see this stuff, we need to understand that we're not slaves to sin. And even if we have been in this Christian home and we're still doing that thing, or if we've gone and sampled the grass and then turned and then now we're living in our Father's house again, but there's still this pull, there's still this desire to sin. What we talk about, who are our enemies? We talked about it yesterday. 3 enemies. Who are they? Colton. Good. Anyone else wanted the second one? Joseph. You, the world, and who else, Rachel? Satan. These are our 3 enemies. Oh yeah, by the way, they hate you. They want to kill you and steal from you and destroy you. They prowl around like roaring lions waiting to devour. That's how Satan is depicted in 1 Peter. They're going to continue to pull. They're going to continue to paint this picture of, hey, these finite things look like. We talked about Satan yesterday. He's a murderer from the beginning. He's a liar. He's the father of lies, and in him there is no truth. That's who we're dealing with. This is who is trying to pull us away. If we take a picture of that he's trying to paint and trying to tempt us with, and then we take the picture of who God is and what God does, which would you rather? Last year I told this story about going to Guatemala, and I told a story about this irresistible situation. This guy was in the back part of the room, and he was wrestling with the Holy Spirit in his chair, and he lost because the Holy Spirit is more powerful. And so, but he was like, oh, I don't want to get up. All my friends are going to make fun of me, but this invitation seems so great, so wonderful, and so beautiful. I just want to come to God. I want to cross over from death to life. I want to cross over from lost to found. But I can't. My friends are here, and he's like sweating, and he's doing this, and he's laughing, and he's shaking his head, and he's rocking back and forth in his chair. And then finally, I look up, and I'm looking around at some other people, and then I look down, and he's right there, just soaking the floor with his tears. He crossed over from death to life. And there was a whole group of them. There were 47 of them that came up that night and said, I want God. I want grace. I want the gift. We came back a couple of weeks ago. This was a year later. I'm going around the community, and we're inviting them to our stuff because the gringos are in town again. And we're handing out these hygiene kits in their community. And then we see a couple of these guys, Oscar and Jorge, who came up and were soaking the floor with their tears, and they're drunk, gambling with their friends and some of the older guys in the community. Hey guys, how's your walk with Jesus? How is your relationship with God? You got hit by a Mack truck. I thought you were going to look different. My heart was breaking for these people. Out of the 47 that came forward that night, we're still pursuing God a year later. Oh, it broke my heart. It was so heavy. But then I see them come back, right? So I see them escape. I see them go out. I see them sample the world. And then I see them come back as the week progresses. They're reminded of these beautiful truths about grace and about God. And with, again, tears soaking the floor, they come back and they say, okay, this time I want it. God, will you welcome me back into your home? And of course says, yes, not only will I welcome you, I'm going to throw a party for you. I talked to Jorge and Oscar later on, and I asked them, Sunday, when you were drunk, losing the little money that you had, how did that feel? And this greed, this desire for more money, this party scene, this feeling of the finite thing of drugs and alcohol, this thing, how does that feel? How do you feel? Empty? Yeah. Which would you rather? Do you remember when you crossed over from death to life that night? Do you remember when you crossed over from lost to found? How did that feel? Yeah, I remember how that felt. because the Son set them free. They were no longer slaves to sin, which leads to death, which leads to separation from God forever. They're no longer slaves because the Son set them free. John 8 says this, verse 34. Jesus replied, "Very truly, I tell you, everyone who sins is a slave to sin. Now, a slave has no permanent place in the family, but a son belongs to the family forever. So if the Son sets you free, you'll be free indeed." In God's family, we are the slave. Jesus is the Son. It's up to Him whether we are set free or not. And if we come into this family because we accept the grace gift of Jesus, then here we are, set free. So we're no longer slaves to sin. It's like if you're imprisoned in this jail cell. I'll use this not as the porch, but as a jail cell, right? So here I am, chilling in prison. I'm a slave to sin, which leads to death. Yeah, things are looking pretty bleak. I've tried this, it doesn't work. I've tried this, it doesn't work. But I can't fill this cup, so I seek to fill it and fill it and fill it, and I'm a slave to this thing. I'm imprisoned. And then along comes the Son, who sets me free. And the gate to the jail cell is open. So now I get to walk out, and I'm free, and I get to sample life that is truly life. I get to take hold of it if I want to. I also have the option of going back in and sitting in this prison cell. I'm not a slave to sin, but I choose it. I'm not a slave to the finite things that I seek to fill this empty, or this eternal hole in my heart, but I go back to these things that I know aren't going to work. The prodigal son in this picture, with this celebration, with what he understands about grace, is not going to return to the place where he was completely empty, desired to be filled with what he was feeding the pigs. I think I'm out of time. So let me. So here's what I want to do. I want to frame with y'all small groups. I want you guys to be honest with your leaders about where you are. And in Kyle's group, we were talking about the circle of trust. Hopefully, you guys have a circle of trust in everyone in your groups. But what happens in the group stays in the group. There's this confusion. There's this trust that happens there. But I want you guys to. I can talk to you guys for hours on end, and it will have a certain degree of effect. But with you guys talking, these leaders that really love you and care about you, I really love you and care about you. But with them, they're in this model, this setup that that is designed to help you kind of break free and be changed. I just want you guys to experience that tonight. I want you guys to turn tonight. Not because you choose to, because of your earning and because of your calculation of all these things, but because of the gift of God that it is to turn. Turn. Or run home. Or embrace that hug. Or if you're home and you haven't left it, just tell them where you are. Talk it out. And understand this, that you could not have gone too far from God to where He cannot reach you. Dostoevsky says this. He says, "At the last judgment, Christ will say to us, 'Come you also, come drunkards, come weaklings, come children of shame, vile beings, you as well. Though not one of them has ever been judged worthy, He will stretch out His arms, and we will fall at His feet, and we will cry out, sobbing. And then we will understand all. We will understand the gospel of grace.'" Where you are, but to the degree that I can, I know about the gospel of grace. I know it's worth it to pursue and grab hold of it. Don't just turn away from the finite things that you're seeking to fill your infinity with. Turn and attach to the Father, who is already running at you with His arms open wide. Ring ready, sandals ready, robe ready, fattened calf ready, celebration ready. He's just ready. I don't know where you are in that picture, but I just want to urge you with every bit of influence that I have to turn, run, and attach yourself